देश की धड़कन रेडियो FBC2 is number 1 in Singatoka.
मैं लंबासा के निवासी, मेरा नाम प्रेम चंद्रा है। देश की धड़कन रेडियो FBC2 को मेरा सलाम।
नैनी में देश की धड़कन रेडियो FBC2।
रेडियो FBC2 में देश की धड़कन मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
रेडियो FBC2 is number 1 in Singatoka.
नैनी में मेरा धड़कन है रेडियो FBC2।
हम ननुपुर की रहता है और हम रेडियो FBC2 हरदम सुनता है।
हमें रेडियो FBC2 सुनो बहुत अच्छा लगे, आप भी रेडियो FBC2 सुनो।
देश की धड़कन रेडियो FBC2।
In this bulletin, 2 tropical depressions heading towards Fiji. Mahendra Chaudhry applies to have his case quashed. And Labour Ministry succeeds in mediation services. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The Fiji Meteorological Office has located 2 systems, Tropical Depression 15 and Tropical Depression 14, that are gradually moving towards the country. TD15 is slowly moving closer to Fiji, while TD14 is approaching from the north and is expected to hit the country from tonight. Members of the public have been warned to take the necessary precautions. Akusita Tale reports.
The 2 depressions will bring heavy rain, strong winds and currents over Fiji for the next couple of days.
Essentially until Friday and into Saturday, and by that time we anticipate this system to develop into a tropical cyclone.
Wangai Delua says it's still too early to locate the specific area that the cyclone will hit, as the 2 models are still coming together.
At this stage we are sending the message that for the whole of Fiji. And initially it looked like the Western Division only and the Southern, but now it's the whole of Fiji. We expect the system to come through from the north of Viti level through the whole of Fiji by early next week.
Wangai Delua says the situation is very rare, as they sent out an early warning before the weather situation occurred.
These 2 systems are now tracked by satellite. They are yet to come to within our radar range. These systems do exist and they are approaching Fiji. Tonight we expect rain to start in the Western Division, spread across all over Fiji from tonight, and we expect the rains to be heavy. Of course, floods will come later.
The Weather Office is sending out a stern warning to members of the public in flood-prone areas to start moving to higher ground and take necessary precautions. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Fiji Labour Party leader Mahendra Chaudhry has applied to quash proceedings against him in the High Court. Chaudhry is charged with 3 counts relating to alleged breaches of the Exchange Control Act. It's alleged between November 2000 and July 2010, Chaudhry kept over $1 million Australian without the consent of the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji. This afternoon in the High Court, his lawyer, Queen's Counsel Guy Reynolds from Sydney, argued that there was no proper consent for the Director of Public Prosecutions to institute the proceedings. Reynolds also said charges against his client were incorrect, as several charges were included in 1 count. The matter continues tomorrow. Fiji has again gone beyond the international benchmark, this time for resolving workplace grievances through mediation. The Labour Ministry has an 86.3% settlement rate, while the global benchmark sides at 75%. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports this amounts to almost $1 million in settlements.
The most common complaint the Labour Tribunal has worked on is unfair dismissal or termination. Labour Permanent Secretary Taito Wanga says good faith dialogue could prevent such cases.
So no perfect worker. Everybody got their flaws. No one is an angel. So with that understanding, you go for nurturing, proactive, okay, counseling, coaching, okay? Some of that may be problems not from there, from somewhere else, from home. So holistic approach of management, you take it all, holistic.
The tribunal also received a number of discrimination cases, such as race, age, gender, disability, and so forth.
These are some issues to ask the employers to be proactive and have an inclusive approach, because it's going to reap benefits for them. Because if you isolate a certain, the productivity goes down. When you include everybody, productivity goes up. Very, very important.
There were only 2 reports of sexual harassment in the workplace last year. Taito Wanga says they have reason to believe that there are more unreported cases out there.
The reporting is not high enough. We believe it's there. So we're trying to do a special promotion on this to empower people with their rights on sex harassment. We've got a sex harassment policy and everything there that they can either take it here or Fiji human rights under the law.
Only a small number of cases actually go for hearing because most are settled through mediation. The Labour Ministry is encouraging employers to use mediation as a means of resolving conflicts in the workplace. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
Education Minister Philippe Mbole has now confirmed there are limited classes running at Queen Victoria School in Tailevu after a massive outbreak of illness on the weekend. He says 140 students were sent home last Sunday and 131 are resting in their dormitories. More than 60 students sought medical attention at Korovo Hospital. Mbole says authorities are trying to confirm whether it was a case of food poisoning or a waterborne disease as earlier suspected. The Ministry's Secondary Education Department earlier said the school was closed for a week. However, Mbole says there might be some parts of the school closed to contain the sickness. The Ministry of Health said it sent officers to the school yesterday to investigate the incident. Coming up, senior American government official visit Fiji.
Bato bahe, ba में रेडियो फीजी 2 के कौन सा के रोके ऑनलाइन क्लियर।
रेडियो फीजी 2 रकी के लोग ज्यादा सुनते हैं।
नैनी में हम सबकी पसंद रेडियो फीजी 2।
तालेबू के लोग रेडियो फीजी 2 सबसे ज्यादा सुन रहे हैं।
मेरी पसंद रेडियो फीजी 2, नसोरी में सभी को पसंद रेडियो फीजी 2।
टावा में रेडियो फीजी 2 सभी कोई सुनते हैं।
रेडियो फीजी 2 रॉक।
रेडियो फीजी 2 आई लव यू।
देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2।
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama today received the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands Affairs. Denise Matu is a career member of the Senior Foreign Service and assumed her current position last year. She has served as a foreign policy advisor to the United States Transportation Command and in the near future will visit other Pacific Island countries as well. 664 Fijians living in Australia have registered to vote in the 2014 general elections. A government statement says during the 9-day registration campaign, 5 teams travelled to 49 communities in Australia with significant Fijian populations. Attorney General Aisaid Qayyum says the registration drive ran smoothly thanks to hard work and careful planning. Campaigns in the United Kingdom and the west coast of the United States will be next. A former chief administration officer at the Asset Management Unit of the Ministry of Public Enterprises has pleaded not guilty to all charges laid against him by FICAC. Melim Bitu pleaded not guilty to 1 count of receiving a corrupt benefit and 1 count of false or misleading information. Bitu is alleged to have received a corrupt benefit of more than $12,500 in May last year, which he used to pay medical bills. It's also alleged he wrote a declaration of interest to Permanent Secretary Filimone Wangabava outlining the receipt of the money. The hearing will begin on June 2nd. One of Suva's oldest hotels, the Southern Cross, has new owners. The hotel has been sold to Lin Yang Lin, who has also purchased adjacent properties to expand the business. Lin adds they are planning to build a bar, as the hotel previously had a famous bar nightclub.
We asking LHM, that one of the architect company in Fiji, LHM to do our design, and once the design have been made and approved, then we would know what exact amount, but roughly I think it would be around 10 to 15 million. I think we will want to spend on that next door property.
The Southern Cross Hotel has 30 rooms and is located on Gordon Street. A Chinese heavy metal band is in Fiji for a series of performances. The Tang Dynasty Band has been brought over by the Chinese Embassy in Suva as part of a cultural exchange program. The band was formed in 1991 and is often credited as the first heavy metal band in China. The first show last night saw a large turnout from the Chinese community at the Civic Center in Suva. band's performing again tonight with the final show tomorrow evening. We turn to sports now, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening in sports tonight. Injured Vodafone Fiji Sevens reps in a race to recover for the next leg of the RB circuit, and Fiji under-20 football side relocate camp as they prepare for the World Cup qualifiers. Details after the break.
Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about Bottled Cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The Vodafone Fiji Sevens team marched into camp today to prepare for the upcoming Tokyo and Hong Kong Sevens tournaments. Concerns remain though for players who are still being treated for injuries from the Las Vegas and Wellington tournaments. Team management will give them one final chance to prove their fitness. Tsalendao Dakadaka reports.
The Fiji Sevens side will be keeping a close eye on players that were injured in their last international outing. It's a race against time for players like skipper Osea Kulinisau and Pio Tuai to recover quickly.
Looking at checking them again this week, and we might rest the ones that need more recovery. So it's a matter of seeing how we will be once we go through our medical session today.
Among the players ready for camp was Nipi halfback Emosi Vudango, who is trying to make a return to the international arena. With Ryan also looking at local tournaments to scout for players, it will make for a very interesting selection process.
The players in the extended squad are in the frame for selection. As I said, it's up to them, their performance, their attitude and hard work will get their selection, plus others that we will see at Mara Sevens and other little tournaments we will see along the way. Everyone's up for selection.
It's a crucial time for the players in the extended squad to step up to the mark. If they make the cut, another mountain awaits them, which is to challenge series leaders New Zealand and South Africa for the pole position. Tsalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
The secondary schools basketball competition continues to grow each year. Basketball Fiji is holding talks with the newly formed Nandi Basketball Association about hosting a secondary school tournament in the jet set town. The purpose is to attract schools to play and compete in the national competition in August.
And that is also our biggest event of the year. And last year we had 67 teams competing in that championships, and this year we're hoping to push the numbers up to 71.
This tournament will be the selection ground for the national under-19 men's and women's teams, which will compete in the Oceania Youth Championships in Suva at the end of the year. The Fiji under-20 football side is ready to shift camp to the south in the build-up to the World Cup qualifiers. The side has been camping in Ba and now wants to play build-up matches against teams in the south to ensure they get the best preparation. Indra Singh has more.
Fiji under-20 footballers will be playing matches in the south from next month in their effort to boost match fitness.
Planning to come to the Southern Division and stay at the Suva Academy when the league for the district teams will finish by the end of February. So we will definitely come to the south and we'll play quite a few games in the south, so that we also get familiarized with the grounds at the NZ Stadium.
With New Zealand as host having automatically qualified for the World Cup, this is Fiji's best chance to play in a World Cup. However, the road will not be easy for the team as all other Pacific teams are also vying for the spot.
The players are responding well, they are improving day by day, they're improving matches by matches, especially the ones who are playing for the districts, they're improving.
There is also an overseas tour planned for the side as just over 2 months remain for the playoffs at a venue yet to be confirmed.
Against some very good clubs in Australia, and this will be our warm-up matches in there.
Top-notch games against local and overseas teams should prepare this side to take on the best in the region. If our youngsters can learn from this and put it into practice, there might be no stopping Fiji from its first ever World Cup outing. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
That's your sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
One World Flight Center will soon be opening its newest office at Damodar City in Laucala Bay, Suva. Managing Director Rajat Chaudhry signed an agreement with the Damodar Group of Companies Chief Executive Div Damodar this afternoon. This will be the travel agency's 8th branch in the country. Chaudhry says they are proud to be part of the multi-million-dollar complex.
This is the newest one that we're going to be opening at Damodar City in Grantham Road to cater for people around that area, the greater USP area and the other settlers. And we feel this would be a good partnership between us and the Damodar Group by providing this unique travel facility out there as well.
One World Flight Center is ranked amongst the top 5 service providers in the travel industry in Fiji. The company has been operating for more than 11 years. And Jen's here to tell us more about the current weather situation.
Well, Jackie, as we talked about yesterday, a tropical depression is to the west of Fiji and is gradually moving towards the group. We can expect associated active rain bands to affect the country from tonight. A strong wind warning remains in force for all waters of Fiji, with north to northwest winds forecast at 20 to 25 knots, gusting to 40. Temperatures were quite warm today, with Lambasa sitting on 34 degrees. There it is. Suva and Nadi are on 33, while our other 3 major centers are on 32. Tomorrow's conditions will consist of rain and thunderstorms, so let's be mindful and steer clear of complacency. It might have been surprisingly fine this morning, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods just yet. Time for a photo. One which I deemed appropriate, all things considering. This one was taken at Lautoka. Now, we should have had a view of the sea here, you can look at that, but that was hidden by cloud cover. That's all this. So there it is, our photo of the day, and another reminder to practice extreme caution in these current weather conditions, especially if you're living in low-lying areas.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. Recapping the headlines, 2 tropical depressions heading towards Fiji and will bring heavy rain from tonight. Mahindra Chaudhry applies to have his case quashed by the Suva High Court, and Labour Ministry succeeds in mediation services. This week's poll question, we're asking, are Fijians taking the dengue outbreak seriously? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And on that note, please stay tuned to FBC News and all our 6 radio stations for updates as the bad weather approaches Fiji over the next few days. Till tomorrow, good night.
मिर्ची FM is #1 in Singapore.
और किसके सुनिए यार, हमारा एक सच्चा साथी है मिर्ची FM लंबा साथी.
I love Mirchi FM. It's so hot. देखे में लाल लाल, खाए में हाय हाय. Tangi tangi taupo में Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singapore, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva. It's hot.
हम वहीं के लिए लंबासा में रहता है. तो क्या बताइए हम मिर्ची FM सुनता है.
Mirchi FM, bon julum julum.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.